Is Rudy Giuliani the best or worst thing to ever happen to Donald Trump's legal team? We'll discuss. Well, after last night's interview with Sean Hannity, I don't know whether to think Rudy Giuliani is an absolute legal genius or he's losing his mind with some of the things he said. Now, I worked for Rudy Giuliani in the 1990s in the New York City Police Department. The man was a genius then, and I have no reason to doubt he still is. None whatsoever. But some of the things he said to Sean Hannity on Fox News last night on what I'll call an earth-shattering interview are leaving many of us very, very intrigued, and more than a few of us scratching our heads at what Giuliani's endgame really is. Now, if you haven't seen the interview, you haven't seen the headlines on it today, Giuliani admitted on live recorded a couple of hours television, in Hannity's case, let's call it international television, that President Trump did in fact reimburse Michael Cohen for the $130,000 hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, the porn star stripper who's alleging that Donald Trump had an extramarital affair with her. Now, what Giuliani said to Sean Hannity was that Michael Cohen, like many other lawyers, I'll paraphrase, Michael Cohen, like many other lawyers, advanced money to settle a problem for a very wealthy and powerful client. I've got several stories in front of me, so I'll read you the quotes. Now, that is not uncommon. Giuliani went on to say, and I want to find his quote for you, that there was nothing illegal about it. Here's what Giuliani said. Quote, the reimbursement to Cohen and Cohen's payment to Stormy Daniels, Giuliani said to Sean Hannity, quote, is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. Sean Hannity said they funded it through the law firm. They funneled it through the law firm. Giuliani barreled on, funneled through the law firm, and then the president repaid it. And Hannity was kind of taken aback. He said, oh, I didn't know. He did? And then Giuliani doubled down and said, but it's not illegal. Now, if it happened the way Giuliani said, he's 100% correct. It doesn't matter how sensational it is. It doesn't matter what the mainstream media wants you to believe. It doesn't matter how hysterical Democrats get. It is perfectly legal for an attorney to settle a matter, to advance the funds, and then the client, personally or through their corporation, reimburse their attorney. Perfectly legal. There is no reason to believe that this was some kind of in-kind campaign payment. And this is what the left and the mainstream media are trying to trip you up on. And the reason they're doing that is clear, and I'll tell you in a moment. They're trying to make you believe that multi-billionaire Donald Trump dipped into campaign funds to repay Michael Cohen rather than use his own money or money from the Trump organization. That's asinine. That's ludicrous. I don't believe for a second that happened. The reason they want you to believe that, the reason they're pushing this narrative is because Hillary Clinton did exactly that to pay Fusion GPS. She hid campaign money through her law firm, Perkins Coie, to pay Fusion GPS to avoid a paper trail. Donald Trump wouldn't have had to have done that. He has the money, so does Hillary Clinton. The Clintons don't spend a dime. They only take money. Donald Trump, if he paid Michael Cohen personally or through the Trump organization, broke no law, did nothing wrong. Is it a moral issue to some evangelical voters? Maybe. But is it an ethical or legal issue? No. A lawyer settled out a case. The client reimbursed the lawyer for settling out the case. It's probably happened 300 times as you're watching this segment around the country. Probably has happened thousands of times around the world as you're watching this segment. It's called lawyering. It's called the attorney-client relationship. That's what lawyers do. It's ethical, it's legal, it's permissible. Only the American left and the mainstream media are trying to make an issue of this. And they want to make an issue of this because they want to drive Donald Trump in front of Robert Mueller. They want an impeachment trap. They want a perjury trap. They cannot let this president succeed. They cannot allow this president to have a successful 2 terms in office. They cannot allow Donald Trump to prove that the establishment in both parties is functionally broken and works against the agenda of the American people. Giuliani, though, well, let's just say he went some places I wouldn't have gone. He called Jared Kushner disposable. Hannity asked Giuliani what might have happened if Jared Kushner becomes a target of any criminal investigation. And Giuliani said about Kushner, well, he's a fine man, quote, a fine man. You know that, but men are disposable. But a fine woman like Ivanka? Come on. So that part of me is like, wait a second, Rudy. I mean, what is he implying there? Now, I've long believed that one of the Department of Justice's, the deep staters, still within the DOJ, one of their targets has always been Jared Kushner. I do believe that. However, Michael Caputo, former aide to President Trump, he came on, advisor to President Trump during the campaign, not during the presidency, but during the campaign, an advisor to then candidate Trump, came on the campaign after the New York State Republican primary. And Michael Caputo has been put through the ringer. He's he's speaking out about his interview with Mueller. He said they were professional, but it was a horrible, horrible experience. He does not believe any longer that Mueller is a fair and impartial actor. Michael Caputo also lashed out at Senate Intelligence Committee for putting him and his family through that, pretty much bankrupting him. I always tell you on the show, hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. And Caputo said he does not think the president should sit down for an interview with Mueller's team. But he also said that Mueller's team asked him very specific questions related to Russia collusion, Guccifer 2.0, WikiLeaks, that at no time, except to frame the context of one question, did they mention Donald Trump, and at no time whatsoever did they mention anyone with the Trump name or related to Trump, including Jared Kushner. Caputo was very specific on that. So it makes you wonder, then what is Mueller looking for? We know there was no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, and it appears that Mueller's team is reaching with these emails. Now, I don't know, and I love to come on air and I bring you my experiences and I give you answers and solutions. I have to be honest with you. I really don't know Giuliani's strategy here. I don't know his endgame. Now, Giuliani walked back his comments a little bit because there was a lot of uproar. So Giuliani then told Hannity that Trump repaid Cohen for the $130,000 advance to make Stormy Daniels go away. Now, I tell you all the time, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Lawyers do that all the time. You got a busy, wealthy client, costs a lot more money to fight a lawsuit than it does to settle for $130,000. What Giuliani said is that Trump repaid Cohen, quote, over several months by putting him on a retainer of $35,000 when he was doing really no work for the president. Giuliani said, quote, I said that's how he's repaying it, with a little profit and a little margin for paying taxes. Now, this story has many, many tentacles, many, many tentacles. And we're going to get into all of them. I want to bring you all of the information on this story that's readily available. We'll analyze it piece by piece on my longer show, Off the Cuff Declassified, later today, right here on The Rebel. This is a really interesting story, and Rudy Giuliani just made it much more interesting, much more intriguing. So I want to bring you every single bit of it. Help me do that by subscribing to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows. Also, go to the App Store, download the Rebel app, and go to firescottisrael.com and sign our petition. As always, thanks so much for doing those things, and thanks even more for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.